Greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, here to share I found a lot of gratitude for the day, and I am filled with happiness. I am hoping to offer some for you to carry with you as well. Gratitude and happiness are the topics today. I meant to do this before. Oops. And now it'll be a minute. I did drop the link for those who feel guided already, wish to join. Happy Friday to you all. For, the sun has risen again for us all on this day to do with what we will. And I've had some fun today. I really have. Paying attention to some of the online stuff. If I do feel like there's somewhat of a dysfunctional, functioning, emerging community going on here in the YouTube stuff. And I keep getting entertained, that's for sure. But today I also had the blessings. Let me bring that up. I am so lucky to have, as much as I complain about, lack of whatever, I got some magical support. Leanne shared this with me. I am happy because I'm grateful. I choose to be grateful. That gratitude allows me to be happy, right? Happiness and gratitude, the two go together. And then the thumbnail, of course. Whoops, wrong one. Few people understand the real essence of happiness. It's not something you can demand from life, but the ability to find the good in what you currently have. And brothers and sisters, there is a wisdom to be found in that ability, developing that ability for yourself. I had some thoughts about this earlier, how to explain some of the things I'm saying, because it can be easily misunderstood, taken out of context. Some of these things can sound kind of self-centered or egotist, but it's not. What I'm suggesting is, within yourself, consider the perspective. What if you can align your will to the will of the Creator? So that, with grace and understanding, some compassion, that you may not always have the clear guidance, but if you can commit yourself to aligning your will to the will of love, to the will of truth, the idea is to align yourself and stop imagining such distances between you and the Creator. The society, the religions, and all the history, it's convinced the masses that God is something that you can't understand. The only way you can know about it is to study a book or to go and learn from others. Those are partial truths, but those are not the only facts to be considered. What I'm suggesting is that the way of the Christ is the way to be a natural child of God, a true human being in the pure nature that follows natural law, does what is moral and right moment by moment. I mean, that's how we're supposed to live. Paul, thank you for the contribution, but I'm not going to read the chat. I'm not going to bring that up. Blessings and greetings to all of you. The link should be pinned for those who do wish to join the chat. But I'm pretty confident in this topic myself. I'm pretty proud of the practice of gratitude that I've developed in myself, for myself. And I tell you what, I encourage you, find your own way to grow in the gratitude, the opportunities of being grateful for being you and not someone else, or being you not in the way things were or could be. There's always reasons to be grateful, and to feel grateful, man, that fills you fills you with just a strength, a confidence, a stillness. When I first got sober, I've shared my stories of addiction, and for those who don't know, at the end of my drinking, it was a serious, sick disease. My job at the post office, it required a lot of notes, and by the end of the day, without a drink, my writing was so bad I couldn't read it. Even as a local president signing the checks, I had a tough time signing my name. It was just a sick disease. And so to still my shakes and to still my sickness, I drank whiskey to calm it down. As long as I get a couple of ounces in me, and I'd just be chill, I'd be good. But why did I bring up my drinking? When I first got sober, after going through detox, having people support me through the initial withdrawals, and they watched my health. They actually eased the change through medication, which I didn't, it is what it is. But in rooms of AA, working with a sponsor, there's a practice of gratitude. Gratitude is an underlying theme in the steps of recovery. Gratitude and honesty. So I remember working with my sponsor. The simple task: 5 things that you're grateful for, Jack. Here I was in a beautiful home with a secure job, admiration, support, love from others all around me. Had safety and security and the comfort of to that time, and I was investing for the future, so I was doing all right. Even with my young son near me in my life, I couldn't come up with 5 things I was grateful for. And in hindsight, it's embarrassing. It is. It's embarrassing to admit that's how foolish I was. But, praise God. See, that is what I've learned to help me with my own faith. I used to allow my logic and reasoning to really, a lot of anger and a lot of reasons to distrust, and it's all fear-based. And so when I started looking at that stuff within myself, well, I knew that there was more. How did I get past it? Oh, the gratitude. The fear, using the logic and reasoning to consume my time focused on fears and problems, arguments, conflicts. It denied my beingness from receiving all the good that life is really bringing forth. So I am encouraging you guys. The past few years, as my life transformed, it changed the way I look at things. I adapted, and I'm so grateful I adapted, because what I was reminded of is the simplicity of life, brothers and sisters. Each of us are on this path of progression through time as who we are. And it's the past experiences, the past memories that have educated us into what we do, what we believe, and what we think we are today. But if you can allow yourself to restart, renew, become one again, innocent and pure, living with the love, the truth, the guidance of the Christic spirit that is available, is within us. Because whether we like what's going on in the world or we don't like what's going on in the world, whether we like how we look, like how we look, none of that shit matters. The world is going to be how it is. You're going to be how you are until you control you, adapt you, and change you. But I believe I've received some confirmations. Yesterday, we had some new guests here on the platform. I've had conversations offline, making plans and considering opportunities for the future. I've received some reminders that good things are happening through us. So all we got to do is bring our awareness to that. Be grateful for that we get to be a part of today and all that is. Because all that is and today is going to bring forth tomorrow and the future. And we're a part of all that. So if we can be grateful that we are today, and we can find some happiness just in the state of being alive, being human, being who you are as you are, with the opportunity to grow and improve, to become more. If we can become grateful for today and happy for today and share that shit, right? That's what nature's about. Nature's about producing and sharing. And we got to, in this world of delusions and illusions, we live not how we should. How about this? We have been living not how we could. Take out the judgment. We could transform this world together. We could transform ourselves on our own. Doing those things together, I actually think it would make things more simple. Hey, another kind of a totally different topic, but I'm just kind of flowing right now. I do have plans based on that last conversation. There is, well, share this tab instead. This is thy kingdom come. That was put together by one of the guests on the stream yesterday, Ahava. And so they've got something going on later, just a little over 2 hours from now. So I plan to be with that later. The other thing, since I'm just kind of flowing, and again, any who do wish to join are welcome to. It's kind of Friday night. I just saw that. You tell me. Thank you. It's Friday night energies. I am feeling at peace. I truly am. I know how I can get on here on the panel sometimes, and I get all, well, you're not paying attention to me. Oh, we're not talking about the topic. Well, I think I've reached some new levels of surrender and faith. I'm trusting that God is bringing forth everything in God's time. And I have experienced this in my own life. And please, I encourage you, look at your own life honestly and see if it's happened with you too, where I've gone through periods of, I'm seeing what's happening, problems on the horizon, conflicts that don't have to be. I'm seeing these problems and I get all worked up and angry and all filled with fear. And then at the right time, the answer will arise or the solution will come into my life. And so in hindsight, I'd get all worked up and waste time being upset about things that I couldn't control or about things that weren't even going to happen for a few more days. So, why did I know I brought that up for a reason. Oh, my faith. I trust that even though I've seen all these opportunities and I've been knocking on doors and it just, the messages we haven't got quite on the same wavelength, myself and many others yet. But I'm filled with confidence that the right solutions, the right answers, everything's going to come forth at the right time. And I know my intentions are pure. And brothers and sisters, I encourage you guys to look at yourself. Find your purpose, gain clarity in who you are. Why do you do the things that you do? Why do you think the things that you think? What is it that really moves you? Is it love? Or is it an unidentified fear? I'm at peace with whatever the future brings forth. I feel prepared. I feel prepared for most things. I do not always sit in front of the fireplace. And in fact, I do sit here on occasion and watch videos, but not very often. No, when I'm not here, I don't do. I've had the fireplace on. I'll turn it on again. It's about to get cold, but with the chair right in front of the fireplace, I have to move some stuff around. It's a gas fireplace. I flip a switch. I can love the modern age, man, because when I grew up, wood stove was our heat. For at times, wood stove was our cooking, I think. God, my folks, we lived so fucking primitive when I was young. Hello, brother. How are you feeling?
444 again, Jack.
Praise be.
Yes, praise the proper destruction of those who have it coming.
Why?
I'm marching around the walls of Jericho, Jack.
Brother, we don't have to focus on destruction. We can follow the path of creation. We can create peace.
Destruction. And to create, you must destroy what you're going to build the new creation on. That's what even your powers that shouldn't be are going with.
How about the concept of destroying conflicts by creating peace?
No. I just said I'm marching around the walls of Jericho. Are you within those walls? I think you are. But we don't have to go at you. If you want to create disagreements, you can kick me out. But I didn't come up here to go at you.
Good. Welcome, brother. We don't need to battle.
I'm not your brother. Thank you for the welcome.
Why do you resist?
Because I must resist evil.
Why do you view me as evil?
Because you hypocrisize this thing that I'm trying my damnedest to read and live by.
Can you be, what if I mean, I'm happy to discuss these disagreements, but brother, I assure
No, you're
you,
not.
I am
You're
not
not happy to
evil
discuss them in any way.
because
That's
you
what gets me
judge
kicked.
a conflict between me and a book.
No,
No,
this is what I covered yesterday. Somebody asked about this, that I have to be the arbiter or the gatekeeper of who's Christianing. I said, no, maybe in the sense of you and Paul, because I'm so closely ingrained with you, maybe I'll be more aggressive with pushing back. But anybody that's out contradicting or misusing those words, you might as well be Gary Oldman from Book of Eli.
Tom.
That book is a weapon, Jack! You can make it say anything you want and the masses will follow!
Tom, I love you, my friend, but one day you're
No,
going to
you
look
don't.
back.
Stop saying that.
Why?
Because I felt that too when I offered you this empty room, and now a year later I don't agree anymore. But we can all be wrong. We all learn, grow, see things for what they are.
Tom, the fact is you're wrong about me.
No, I'm not.
Now, you can continue to believe what you want, and you can continue to live your life being wrong, but...
Oh, that's rich.
It's true, Tommy.
No,
it's
not.
Just simple facts.
No, that's what you're doing. You still believe that's your fireplace in the background.
Tom, welcome, Ragamuffin.
Oh,
good to see you.
Fucking one apple spoils the bunch.
Tom,
oh,
have you guys
look
met?
who it is. It's Tommy.
Yeah, he's talking to me like we
or something over there. He either works for the Illuminati, he thinks he's illuminated.
Oh, that's what the season 1 people made the mistake of. What season are you? And can we get Moose up here just to verify this isn't some kind of quantum leap, Back to the Future, like 40-year-old Moose?
I've been real seasoned, son.
What do the seasons mean, Cynthia?
Tom.
Back to the Future.
Once again, Jack's gonna back the falsities and the nobodies that know nothing of what they speak.
Actually, Ragamuffin was coming up bringing some fun energy. I
used to bring fun energy if I liked the panel.
Huh?
I've brought fun energy to legit panels. You're not so much that anymore.
I know. So here, Tom, there is a result.
You're doing the Cynthia thing where everything that you can't explain, you have to reposition. Let's start over. No. Every statement I make, you'll start over and just drop it.
No, Tom. Well,
okay, we never got to how you disappointed your son. And you're Mr. Truth and Open Book. You said you're Mr. Open Book. How did you disappoint your son?
Tom, does it matter?
Apple, ask him.
I would love to ask my son.
No, I'm asking you. We know we need to ask because your son knows your phone number. He knows your address. He ain't using it.
Right. I don't know why.
No, you do know why. You said you disappointed your son. You got sheepish. You looked down, but you don't tell the story. You said the night I disappointed my son.
I don't know what the fuck you're referring to, okay? I've admitted to many things.
Reposition.
Tom, there may
try and liven that up, Apple Boy.
Here, if okay, I'm trying to put together what you're saying to possibly things that I'm to connect that to. The greatest incident between me and my son.
Dance, nigga. That's what Joe Cole would say if he was here.
See, you don't give a shit.
If Joe Cole was here and legit, he would say dance, nigga.
This is interesting because you don't give a shit about answers. You just want to prolong.
Oh, on the contrary, I'm the only one pushing this question.
No,
Jack, do not say anything to him and cast your pearls before swine.
Oh, your lawyer's speaking, Jack. Your attorney advises you not to answer.
I'm his homie. I'm his homie, little man.
You're his homo.
That's what I am.
Hey,
I'm his homie.
Homo.
You love to weaponize words. I've noticed. I've heard you do it, man. You love
What
to use
community
little
do you
words and you
think
don't
you're
even know their
in?
meaning, nor do you know other people to verify using those words. That's
Oh,
what's
so
crazy
you
about the
came up
low
and tell me
intellect.
that I'm
It
part of
thinks
the
it knows
Illuminati
everything.
and I think I'm Illuminati, and
Boom.
you're saying you know people and you don't manipulate
Homie,
words?
you got it in the name. You got it in the name.
Oh,
You
so
got it
that's
in the
where all the
name.
meaning is I put it in the name and
Claim to
that's what it means.
fame.
So what does illuminate mean?
Homie, you don't act illuminated. I've been around a bunch of chats at this point. You don't act illuminated at all. You're not illuminated to shit, bro. You got an attitude problem.
I've been illuminating all the darkness. Like, what did Jack do to disappoint his son? He's keeping that in the dark. That's not
No,
illuminated.
Tom.
Apple boy,
Tom.
you need more
Nah,
sun on
bro.
your
Hey,
It ain't
tree.
Tom.
your
Here,
job to get
Are
up
you
and
Rag,
hurt
Tony
people's
Taylor?
personal
Ragamuffin.
business like that. What are you talking about,
Ragamuffin.
bro?
This is where
You're
you're
Hold on
crazy.
wrong,
just a
Ragamuffin.
moment.
He stated that shit on his show that he thinks is a thing, and I want
No, I'm
answers.
just your worst
Am I
nightmare.
not
That's
entitled?
all.
Hold
If
on.
Oprah said, man,
Tom.
what are all
Hey, Tom, here's the fact. You asked a question. I started trying to answer it, and you
you
immediately
started
spoke over me.
dancing?
No, I did
I've
not.
asked the
I
question on
started,
numerous occasions.
and I've been answering it, and you've been rejecting and over speaking the answer. Notice your fucking problem, Tommy.
Say it.
Actually, now I am going to
Oh,
change
now
because
Cynthia's not going to answer. Now
I was going to answer your question, Tommy, but here, more importantly, I'll bring you back up, but we're going to resolve one disagreement. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and be interrogated for your bullshit with your bullshit control patterns again. But Tommy, the disagreement you and I have is you in this panel, this stream said that I am evil. You said that I am a contradiction of the
I
book
said you're my
you
enemy,
worship.
and that probably implies you've got some evil in you.
I
You got a
missed
little
what you
Jack in
said.
you. He's got a little Cap in him. I hate pirates,
Tom?
even that red pirate.
Tom,
Say my name.
the
When no one is
disagreement
around
we
you.
have, you have a problem with me, apparently,
You kick
and
the
you
apple or do you
need to
run?
fix
Do you
your
roll?
problems. So
Does
what
that
is your
apple roll?
problem with me?
Oh, I've got a lot of problems. I've told you on this panel. This P anal.
Which problem of yours are we going to resolve?
The problem isn't mine. My problem is everyone that's defying these able words that their daddy once tried to
Tom,
act like he
right
represents.
here and now,
Right here, right now.
Tommy, your lack of awareness, your lack of respect for me. I know you don't have any respect for me. Until you find some, you can stay the hell out of my life, brother. How about that? I think I'm done with you, Tom. Ragamuffin, how I assume your connection dropped there.
Yo. I don't know what that was. That was weird, but just yeah, man. Nobody has the right to ask you personal things about your life and push you and prod you like that. That's not their right. They have no right to do that, and they really don't have anything better to do when they do that. So, just let it be said, man. The fools they always reveal themselves. They do foolish things, stupid, retarded things, right? So,
Well,
yeah. Anyways, bro, don't cast your pearls before swine. You don't owe anyone things like that. You don't owe them anything like that,
please
bro.
don't assume that's why I'm doing it. I know that I don't owe anyone anything. I know what I'm doing, okay? I appreciate the reminder. The reason I entertained Tommy is to try and resolve disagreements. And while true, the questioning about me and my son, it's not appropriate, but I have had, it's not appropriate between him and I. That's for damn sure. It's none of his business unless he's actually willing to follow through with trying to help me reunite with my son. And that is my number one goal. I'm quite open about that. I'm trying to reunite with my son. He turns 21 in a few weeks and hasn't bothered to give me a conversation in several years.
Did you
I
hear me
don't know
say that,
why.
Apple? Apple.
So Tom.
Well, let me tell Apple something because he had some stuff to say to me while I was backstage. I went against my own moral compass with my technical abilities to give that man his current location of his son. I regret it now, and he still
You
won't answer
didn't
my
offer
question.
me
So who the fuck are
anything,
you, Apple?
Tommy. You're lying, okay? I'm not going to sit here and have you disparage me in front of me, have you again sit here and talk about me with things that are not true, okay? You didn't give me shit. He's trying to claim he found my son's location online and told me to go hunt him down. Well, Ragamuffin, you and I were talking, and following your path, some things just don't always work out. I didn't mean to be rude, man. Sorry to you, Ragamuffin. Tommy, I'm not sorry for being rude with you because you, dude, the way you were treating Cynthia, holy cows, man, you are a disrespectful pig. You need to look at yourself, brother. That's not the actions and behavior of a healthy man, Tommy. Golly geez. I don't like scolding, man. I guess I lost Ragamuffin. Brothers and sisters, gratitude is the key to happiness. That's why we're here. Rachel Zinger, thank you to all of you who joining in. True Vine. Holy cows. This life, brothers and sisters, there's something amazing. I thought I knew. I think I have ideas. I have hopes. I have hopes of somehow, I don't know. I have ideas of great influence in the world, somehow participating in peace negotiations, peace discussions, bringing some actual leadership and morality into the United States government. I have hopes of that, but I also have hopes of the small things, just finding joy and happiness in each day. And I've gotten pretty good at that part, finding gratitude and joy. And I tell you what, I know there's a lot of people who know this one. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. One of the many books that helped transform, and I kept meaning to bring it up. Ragamuffin, you back, brother? I don't know. Four Agreements, serious. Simplify your own life and start discovering gratitude in the moments of peace that you can discover, that you can create. Be impeccable with your word. Become the living truth that you are. Stop denying the truth that you know. Stop denying the truth that is offered and revealed to you. Be impeccable with your word. If you say something, follow through. Do what you can to be truthful. And if you do misspeak, if you do find out you're wrong, try to correct. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. That one's easier said than done, but it's true. Don't make assumptions and always do your best. Welcome, sister. How are you today? Ahava.
Hello, guys. Is this better today? I'm on my son's computer. Can you actually hear me? Not a big gurgle.
Yes, it is
hallelujah.
A blessing.
Boy, that was like a blessing yesterday, but also, man, Satan didn't want me talking to y'all. That's okay. Every time he does the
Well,
stuff, we just figure out
ma'am,
another way to work around him. Hey, Chris. Good morning.
pardon my
Aloha.
language, ma'am, because I gave that fella a tongue lashing, as it were.
So
So,
you guys, I
sorry.
just want to share with you. I don't, I've been trying to save people's souls for 20 years. We don't waste our time anymore on these people. They're belligerent. They're not filled with the Holy Spirit. When he can come back as a humble man and ask for forgiveness and repentance for acting like a moron on live camera on your show, then possibly. But I would put him in a long timeout, because part of what narcissists love doing is getting a lot of attention, stirring up a mess, and they don't really want to be delivered. And he needs deliverance. That man is filled with, I don't know how old he is, but I don't imagine any Christian woman or woman of God on this planet would want to date him, be friends with him, or be married to him. So he's got a lot of soul searching. So just, shake it off. I used to get really upset with people like that too, because when you are doing the light, you will be attacked. But we don't have to tolerate it anymore. We don't have to cast our pearls before swine. Even on our own network, we've got people that, I really thought were walking the path. And then I said to them, you don't have to be here. Go start your own thing. If you want to walk in a higher frequency of heaven and manifest heaven on earth, you have to become heaven on earth. That man sounds like he's an angry child of probably the Illuminati, and he needs help, but he's not going to get help fighting amongst believers who are trying to just be, light and love. And it's none of his flippin' business what happened in your personal life. If you're working on your own personal life with your son, we've all had times with our husbands, our spouses, our children, that we've hugely disappointed them from stuff before we really got spirit filled. Let's face it, we're all self-centered narcissists to some point before we really got transformed. So let it go, pray for the brother. But sometimes little bratty kids, the best thing you can do is put them in timeout. I'll share with you, he reminds me of a 2-year-old I was babysitting the other day who just and finally, I literally picked him up, set him down, and he got so upset he threw up. And then after that, Angel, because I wouldn't talk to him for a long time. And then finally, I'm sorry, Auntie Hava. I'm so sorry. And I told him, do not ever do that around Auntie Hava again. And he was just all loving and light after that. But he was testing me. It was the first day that I babysat for him. I've known him since he was born, but his mom never left him alone with me and his sister. And I was shocked by this child's behavior. But putting him in that little timeout, he got so upset he literally projectile threw up. But after that, he was like a little saint. So,
hey, sister, amen. Your words are very, probably from experience. They're very wise. Okay.
Yeah, we learn. We try to be nice to everybody, but you can't reason or even have the scriptures set into people's brain when they're filled with just anger and they're just doing nothing but trying to stir up. It's obvious this man has been controlled by Satan, and he's on your channel trying to mess up what you're trying to do to bring love and light. So just pray for him. That's all you can do.
To be honest, I am kind of inclined, and I would ask that this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to help. It is a confused spirit. Tommy has a great heart. He is a good man. Him and I have had conversations where I've seen, and there's many people alive today that are presenting these confused patterns, real aggressive and cold-hearted. They seem like they don't care, and it comes across as narcissistic. There's levels to it, and I know that's not what Tommy's trying to do, but he does feel led with what he believes. It's also my perspective that just kind of what you've been saying. I think God is with me in this purpose, our purpose, and I believe that people are called for a reason. I've been developing my own level of grace and compassion and patience I guess at the expense of the viewers and the other panel participants, but I'd like to bring Tommy back up. And Tommy, please, brother, bring your best behavior as a gentleman. I know
Oh,
we
I'm
can
not
find
bringing
resolve.
best behavior, but I am bringing my A game. And I'm going to do something very unlike myself. I'll shout out to Snafu Snaps to see him say, I deserve a response to this woman. Very unlike Snafu, but props to him. Now, ma'am, how long have you known Jack?
Is that relevant?
Very. Am I not on good behavior? Because while you're saying you owe me a response, and I don't like to use that term "oh," if you want to live the able words and be stand up, yes, you should give me a response. She's in the backstage saying she's not going to respond to children in male adult bodies.
Tom, you can accept.
Ma'am, how long have you known Jack?
Hey, Tom, how about you explain the relevance so that someone might understand why you're trying to control the conversation?
Well, she obviously doesn't understand why I would ask that question and press you for the umpteenth time.
Well, how about
she
this,
doesn't understand how she sounds like my pastor's wife.
All right. Hey, Tom, I'm going to follow the recommendations that were offered. And Tom, I hope you listened. When you find humility and respect to offer, instead of the Antichrist energies, I know you don't want to represent the agent of chaos, Tom, but, well, maybe you do. You seem to be promoting the Old Testament type of God, the punishing and judgmental. You even said earlier, you're here to be the judge or judgment. No, brother. You're here to be an instrument for love, to bring forth the love that is available in each moment, every moment. That's what we get to do, guys. The path of the Christ with surrender, it's not so difficult. It's hard to be perfect, right? When you're just constantly on edge and in fear of screwing up, and you're only trying to be good so you be rewarded. I mean, that's kind of a selfish way of living. And it doesn't work. I've tried. Well, you know what? My experience was it was awful hard and it was kind of miserable. So what I've been learning, brothers and sisters, with the intention to know, the intention to learn, to stop caring about what my beliefs were, but to truly know God and what is real. Brothers and sisters, when you surrender yourself into this moment, you are in the loving hands of God. There's no separation from us and the Creator. There's no separation between us and this creation. The creation being Mother Earth, all of each other, all of nature, the diversity of everything that is. That's what we are. We are a result of the cosmos coming together through a perfect order. And brothers and sisters, if we can humble ourselves to accept the perfection of the moments that we get to perceive and experience, we can. This is from my own explanations. Brothers and sisters, the kingdom of heaven is within. It is here. It is now. It is present. It is waiting to be recognized, received, known, shared, brought forth through us. We are the creation that is. And with all the world's problems are coming through people like us. There's a lot of people who have been confused, and not just confused, there's more who have been deceived.
Yeah,
And
100.
you know it. The deception is getting real and real ugly right now. This deception of authority. It's got a bunch of people fighting for survival, struggling in actual states of war. I think we can get beyond our petty disagreements on these platforms, brothers and sisters. Get beyond our petty disagreements in our platforms, in our communities, in our families. Let's start finding the unification. Let's start finding the ways to unite, to come together, to heal the relationships of the past with humility to the truth, with love as the intention. If we unite together at this time on earth, we can overcome the divisions of wealth and authority. I'm grateful for today. I'm filled with happiness at the ideas and the hopes of what God may allow us to experience in the future. I am filled with hope. Thank you, panel. We have another guest. Welcome, Snafu Snaps.
Mr. Snowball Walnuts, the great Talcott of Talcottia. How are you?
I am feeling blessed. I'm turning your volume down a bit.
All right, hold on. I want to say something. You might not like it, but you want to help
yourself if it should be said.
It should be said. I have to say it. And especially because everyone knows I'm not the biggest 𝕍𝕚𝕤𝕚𝕠𝕟 fan or other fans. Okay? Now, this is fair. I meant what I said, and I was kind of disappointed. I know your goal is to help and heal and fix. 𝕍𝕚𝕠𝕟, this chick, I don't know who she is, so I'll just let her be. She had a lot to say about Tommy. Had a lot to say. When you brought Tommy up, he was actually on a pretty good behavior. He wasn't cussing, screaming. I personally think you should have let them cook because you want to help, heal, and fix. That's all I got to say.
Sure, but I'm not going to impose my desire onto any others, and Tommy doesn't want to communicate with me, so I don't feel any need of having him on here just badgering.
Well, I don't think. I think he was asking her questions because of the response she gave. She gave a pretty detailed response about what you should do with your channel and him, and I thought it was fair he had a chance to talk.
Snafu. It's pretty easy to recognize disrespect, don't you think? And
honestly, I question you guys the way you treat myself and others all the time on how you respect us. So
we'll see. Yes, that's true. It probably is confusing to people like you and Tommy. Snafu, I love you, brother. And eventually you will understand that there's benefit in finding agreement rather than distrust. There's answers available. I think he stepped away, but welcome, Machine Lies, when you return. This life we are living, holy cows. And Snafu, the only question asked was, how long have you known Jack? It doesn't matter. Guys, when we see unnecessary behavior, unnecessary conflicts, there's nothing wrong with questioning or speaking up and saying, hey, that's really not appropriate. And I find Tommy's behavior to be quite inappropriate, but it is content. And in today's society, it's encouraged and praise be. This is the life we are living. Yes, Tommy, I did remove Snafu, and then Snafu chose to leave. Welcome, Machine Lies. How are you today, brother?
Greetings, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Fabulous. Your mic is
Yo.
Real soft. I'm
Real
gonna turn
soft.
you up
Yeah,
a bit.
let me try to.
I think I got it. I think I turned you up a bit already.
Yeah. Okay, thank
Hey,
you.
so the
Yeah.
purpose today, the purpose today is sharing gratitude, finding gratitude, sharing happiness. Hey, I want to put you on the spot a little bit because you're a strong intellectual man, but I also know that life is happening with you. How's your practice of gratitude doing these days? You doing all right?
Oh, it's great, and I think some of the reflections because I'm a man of very simple means and ends. So in a way, I don't currently demand more. And I think it's useful to remember that you came into this world with open hands, and you'll leave with open hands. All you have is given by another, and all you will gain will be given away to someone else. So there is a type of I guess fleeting sense in which possession is fleeting, but if you have very little of it, you have very little to lose in a sense, but in another sense, the ultimate abundance actually comes from what you were addressing earlier, which is nature, or grace, and you see those two poles there in nature itself. You see one of fecundity and then one of growth. And I think that simplicity is found in fecundity of nature, the way it creates more like itself. Nature loves repetition, in a sense, and it's simple in the way it repeats itself, and sort of everything that's there necessary is in the design itself. And then growth is interesting because growth happens, it's change over time, but growth is something that's internal. It happens internal to external, so it's something that's pulled out from inside. you know and so these two poles, fecundity and growth, I think they match these other two poles of grace and simplicity. And nature imbues us with the education of both of those things. We don't need to look out there in society for those things. Nature gives us this education.
Dude, I love listening to your perspectives. The way you articulate, you've looked at some things pretty deeply, and
Thank you.
I respect that. You'd get my mind going.
Bless.
But
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is there is a simplicity to be found. It's in nature, right? Externally, though, through the technology, through the communication and lives of others, we are able to receive different explanations. And I found those pretty helpful. I've been learning a ton, man. I spent most of my life only learning what I was told, only learning what I needed for the job that I was doing. And I just had this fucking slave mindset. It is real. Brothers and sisters, the slave mindset is real. Set yourself free.
Well, it's like I wrote the other day. I said something like I was just sparring, shadow boxing with myself, and then I came up with this line. It was a hot line. I was like, and it was that love is love is a bondless slavery, and slavery is a loveless bond. you know, and
Oh, wow.
and I thought we're all just enslaved on a different level. You know what I mean? And
Dude,
some are enslaved to their own desires. They're bestial in their, progression. You know what I mean?
dude, that is beautiful. That's one thing I've been considering, right? If the path I took, recognizing that whatever is explained out there, it really doesn't matter. What matters is how I be. right? How am I being? What am I doing? What's the state of me? That's the only thing that matters. But I didn't know what that meant. I really didn't. So I had to kind of figure out what does it mean to be me if I don't really care about what the rest of the world is doing. And my life gave me a lot of time to see that there is a simplicity to life. Really, it doesn't matter our religious beliefs. It doesn't matter our economic status, our color. None of that stuff matters. All that matters is that we become the honest and loving version of ourselves. This world does not want us to be honest and loving. It wants us to conform. What was my note? I had a note about conformity the other day. I know you thought, have you thoughts on conformity? No, let's not go there.
That's the
Whatever.
dark path.
Well,
Shit,
that's what-
stop it at all costs. Hey, real quick, I just want to say what up to the Machine Lies. I just also subbed to your channel, bro. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Definitely,
Bless you. Yeah,
definitely
you're welcome
dope.
there anytime. Yeah, you're welcome there anytime too. We have open panels there on Wednesday and Saturday. You guys could come through, you know.
Okay, yeah, for sure,
But it gets
man.
a little hectic. 'Cause
I'm
I don't kick
Ragamuffin.
anybody. Yeah, bless you, Ragamuffin. Man.
Okay. Yeah. Bless up, man.
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys. I appreciate all the support, guys, man. Bless you guys.
Hey, it's honestly because of these awkward, dysfunctional panels. This has been part of my growth and development in the past year, at least. And I am filled with hope, honestly, truly, because of some of the inspiring people I've seen emerging. I think what's happening is we've all been called, and we've all been created, we've all been called to become the greatest versions of ourselves. But I've heard it, we talked about this the other day. There's lots of explanations of what we might be. Star seeds or earth keepers, light bringers, light workers, these different versions of what we are. I believe that humbly, myself, us, we are amongst those who have been called. And maybe even Tommy in the background here. He's still in the back behind the paddle. But he's here for a reason, right? We all are.
Yeah, peace to 𝕍𝕚𝕤𝕚. You know, I think he does have an earnest goal, and I think that some of what he said is useful because he's talking about how destruction is a new form of creation, and that's fine as long as you have a solid foundation underneath, so that you can rebuild on top of that solid foundation. You know, and I see I changed my background and now I'm just disappearing. But yeah, we'll get the technology worked out, or maybe the technology will work us out. Either way. but yeah, but you know, the thing that doesn't have strong roots in nature, you know, the first storm is gonna uproot it. You know, but something that has a strong foundation is something that has deep roots. And if you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. And it is about knowing who you are. And if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And those are the two poles you were talking about. One of being who you are, and then one of becoming, which is adapting to the environment, you know, and you know what I mean? Yeah.
I love that distinction you offer. The first step, though, is learning how to be. Not just do, but learning how to be and then become the greater. I never knew how to be. That was part of, in hindsight, it's not an excuse, it's part of the explanation, but that was part of the reason I boozed. I didn't know how to relax. I didn't know how to meditate. I didn't know how to be peaceful. I just knew how to get drunk. Get numb, man. Which link are you looking for? Oh, conversations in the chat. The key that I found the strongest thing for myself, gratitude. Gratitude is limitless. It's up to us to label, define, discern. We've got the gift of the analyzing mind, and we can allow the analyzer to control us and to tear us up, man. Bring us to tears and rage. Or that analyzer mind, man, when it is guided by love, that analyzer mind can take you off in beautiful trips of thought and discovery, all in the realm of consciousness. That is who we are, we are gods of consciousness, creator beings created by the creator for the purposes of imagining and creating the future of our dreams. Society doesn't want us to know that. It wants us to conform, obey, fit in. And they use fear to do that. I've got Snafu and Tommy here in the back.
We gotta let them up. we gotta let them because it seemed like even today they seem to be coming to a resolution or something like that. So maybe they'll become friends today.
You know what we need to do is we need to call that lady that was on Super Nanny and get her up on the show. So when Tommy acts up, we can have her like deal with him.
It's almost that behavior, but
what is the Super Nanny? Or
well, to discipline.
Mr. Talcott. Hey,
Yes.
I wanted to relay a message. I'll say it here, but we'll talk about what I was going to say. But for Tarek, email me at snafusnap007@gmail. And anyone else, if they ever need to contact me, that's how you can get a hold. snafusnaps007@gmail.com. But anyways, Mr. Machine Lies, Mr. Ragamuffin, Ahava, and Mr. Snowball Walnuts, the great Talcott. Hello.
That is a powerful name. There's something powerful about that name.
And it was changed.
Something about Christmas. There's a lot of Christmas energy behind it, or something like that.
I'm feeling it. I really am.
It is an irrelevant.
Really,
I just don't understand.
Well, we went through it together too. Remember, we went through the process and we figured it out together.
Snafu, brother. Here's the thing: God has brought us together, and I've been trying to figure out why. I'm pretty sure it has not been for me to be called evil and a liar and all the other nonsense names that have been thrown at my character.
May I say something about that? When you want to fix wars and do the things you got to say, you're going to have opposition, obviously. Like, that's obvious. Opposition is going to be just in life in general. So the earlier I saw you on Paul's, and I saw you say to him, man, patience. And I know that patience is a virtue. And I know, like, Mr. Machine Lies deals with it. I see you dealing with it lately.
Yeah,
I don't know the opposite fully.
Patience is a virtue and knowledge is a commercial. You know what I mean? Knowledge only points to what has to be done. But patience is what resolves and gives us the courage to do those things. You know what I'm saying, Snafu?
Yeah, I do. And I think that when people do that to you, Talcott, whether they intentionally see it or not, they're still bringing invoked conversation to you, which that allows you to be able to present whatever you feel, so at least they're still because think about if they weren't talking shit to you, they wouldn't even be fucking with you. They're fucking with you in one manner or another.
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Hold on a moment. Ahava, are you speaking?
Hey, Jack, how are you?
I'm not. I think Ahava's speaking to someone in the back.
Hey,
Welcome.
hey Terry, did you get that email?
Yeah.
snapfusnap007gmail.com. And then just hit me up and we'll talk that way.
I got you. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry,
So
Jack. Go ahead.
Let me address what you said. Okay. Snafu, just because you've heard that if I want to end wars, people are going to challenge me, why do you think it has to be you? Why do you think you are here to be a challenge in my life instead of finding a way to work with me?
Well, okay. I've challenged you on certain things, but let's remember I've also supported you more than most.
Let's keep to the
like
topic.
publicly.
Keep to the
Publicly.
topic. Keep to the topic.
Okay, I think I get challenged. Challenge is not a bad thing. You know, Olympic, that's why they challenge people for
Okay.
athletics. It's a challenge. You know, it's
Okay,
fire.
so do you
It's the
think
fire
challenge-
and the refinement and the processing.
Snafu, do you think the challenges you've offered to me have been helpful?
Yeah, I do. I've talked to like the challenge of calling the United Nations.
How has it been helpful?
Okay, I give you shit when I do the whole United Nations bit, but I've called big corporations, CEOs, YouTube, this, that. I've called the United Nations. You know that. I feel
I'm not going to continue this. I know I'm trying to interrupt you, Snafu, but for the love of God, allow the interruptions. Because I'm not going to sit here with you continuing to loop with your absolute nonsense. Can we find any resolve, Snafu?
Let's resolve.
Snap, can I say something real quick? I'm sorry, because Jack is right, kind of. He is right. I'm not kind of, because you have to let him speak first, and then you kind of over talking on them. And on top of that, it's the intention of you challenging him. What's your intention? Sometimes it doesn't come out in the right way.
Well, I was going to say it, but I kept getting like cut off and backstage. So I'll wait until you could let me finish, and I'll say why I think challenge is good and that certain challenges I've presented to Jack. But I'll wait till I could say it.
Nothing's stopping you. All you're doing
Okay,
is
so when I've bullshitted you, go ahead. Sorry. Okay,
Please.
So when I've challenged you on the bit, like the United Nations bullshit, I've called, like they do, like locals could call, just like when you said you used to do the state council
right?
meetings.
I've heard this. So what? So what is your
it's a challenge?
Point?
It's growth.
I think what
It's
you're trying to. I think what
Okay.
Snafu's maybe trying to assert here is that, like in a sense,
Don't
you have to
him,
be.
please.
Well, no. Well, no. Just in a sense, you have to be grateful for your enemies because maybe life would be boring without them or something like that. I guess you're trying to say that, a challenge is part of growth. I see you tried to synthesize the topic maybe at the end there, or something like that, because you got a little bit, desperate to try to synthesize.
No, I think you guys are misunderstanding me, period.
I'm sick of this. I don't care, Snafu. Take your happy ass elsewhere. I'm done with you. Okay. And Machine Lies. Snafu claims to be, here's where that conversation started. Well, Jack, because you want to end wars, that you're going to be challenged. Those who follow the Christ, they're going to be challenged. And then I get the idiots like Snafu, like Tommy, wanting to present that opposing energy to me. For what purpose? They claim they're helping me. Paul has claimed to help me. Moose claimed to help me. Tommy, Snafu, all these people claim to help me. Yet, I think I'm still doing pretty good despite their help, despite their ignorance. And brothers and sisters, the practice of gratitude That's what we're supposed to be here for. We're not supposed to be here to try and insult each other, convince each other. I mean, seriously, in this stream, I've had Tommy presenting me as a liar. I do not lie. So, Tommy, is there any resolve with your claims?
You're the one making claims and gaslighting while you hold me in the back chat stasis and talk your lies.
Not true, Tommy.
I think when, hey, Tarek, you're the worst panel member of any show. You've been shown up as a grifter. You need to
Stay
dip
focused, Tom. This
Thank
is
you.
not
Don't
your,
let him interrupt me.
I don't,
Don't
Tom,
let that faker
focused.
interrupt me.
Hey,
he's Unslavia, Jack.
Present. We don't have to
All
be
right. Ever
adversaries,
since you put me back there, you've been misrepresenting, gaslighting, lying. I never said I was the judge. I said my Father in heaven is the final judge. I say we judge because I ain't lending you no money, Jack.
I didn't ask
not
you
every
for
woman's spreading their legs for every guy that asks.
no
so we
one, right.
definitely
That's
judge
irrelevant.
each other.
No one's
Not irrelevant. Just
that.
like how long this this new age woman has known you is relevant.
Well, Tom,
and notice she might be a Cynthia because you think she's here partaking and she's off dealing with whatever till it's her turn to talk.
Tom, regardless of your opinions and narratives,
deflection, opinions, filibuster.
Here, tell you what, I'll answer the question.
Just like with your daddy, Paul,
Tom,
I only reveal methods and process that you grifters use, and you're no different.
Tom, to answer your question.
You say my name in every response.
Would you shut your mouth?
You deflect and you go filibuster off the path. You'll backstage me. You'll backstage
What are you
Snafu.
doing,
And this is the first day I'm okay with you putting us together, Tom and Snafu. This is the first day I'm okay with it. If he drops that PDF stuff, we're fine.
Tom.
Now, when you say I treated Cynthia with disrespect, were you there, Mom?
Holy cows. I need a break. Sorry, guys.
Jack, I'm sorry. I don't know how you do it, Jack. I give you a lot of credit for being patient with Tommy and Snafu as well and some others. Because I don't get it, man. Where is the respect? Does he need like an etiquette class or something, like to let you speak where he just goes off and on and on?
I've learned the patience actually from Paul. To be honest, he's been an inspiration for me. His patience, even though he can come across real rough and kind of as a dick, he has developed patience.
May I?
Please.
This is Ahava. So I'm having this private chat with Tommy in the background. And I just told him, I said, if you know, basically I'm going to read you guys what I said privately to him. I said, he says, I don't subscribe to women leading churches. Your numbers mean nothing. Okay. I've started 2 churches, but I don't teach the Torah. I have a gentleman because I believe the men are supposed to teach the Torah too. But what men are not as good at, sorry, boys, but it's true. I was a promotions director for the Fish radio station, which is a Christian radio station over here in Hawaii. And I know literally all the pastors on this island, and every single one of them, I don't care how good-hearted, how meaningful they are, they don't know how to fill up their churches. So being a direct, I used to own a social club back when I was in my party days, Jack, and, talk about the party girl. I went from that running private social club events in San Francisco in my 20s to now I'm 60 and I run 2 ministries. We just built a brand new network. We've got a band together of all my prodigals. I wanted to call the band the Prodigals, from prodigals to prophets, but they called themselves, I'll put it in the chat on the regular, but it's the highway.band. And all of them are people I've ministered to, not as the head Torah teacher, but just as a sister in Christ, trying to help people lead them to God. Yeah. And some of them I've known since they're 21. They're now 34. They're in the band. I've known one of them, her boyfriend committed suicide during COVID. She calls me up crying, I miss you. I said, you're going to be in the band. I just keep putting them all in the band. And they're really good now. I mean, really good. If you guys go look them up, the it's the highway.band. But anyway, with our brother here, with Tommy, I basically said, okay, you can call me privately, but if you're rude or disrespectful, Respectful.
I
I will
think
be one tax exempt, set apart church from the 501c3 church. I've been doing that for 20 years. Our head teacher, our head Torah teacher, we do live service from the beach here in Hawaii, Nanakuli, Hawaii, tracks every Saturday morning. I earned a master's degree in divinity and
Whoa, you know, Ahava, I would love for you to call into my show on Saturday if you want, because we're actually studying the Bible. We're doing a study of Paul's letters. So if you want, you know, you could explain some of that if you know anything about that. You know, I'd love to hear your opinion on it, and I could let you have maybe like 10 minutes. So you could explain whatever you want on that. You know.
well, I don't know what you mean by explain whatever I want on that.
Well, you said you went to divinity school to learn about the Bible, right?
Well, I was raised, you know, like a lot of people, quote, Methodist. My mom said we were Christian, but once I really got to be 40 years old, and two, like Jack, spent half my life running from the system. And my father was a bar attorney, and I just hated it ever since I was a little kid. So he wanted me to go to law school, and I put my hands up like a cross saying, no, they're all, you know, complete demonic.
You put your hands up on the cross.
I literally worked in my father's law firm with 17 drunk bar attorneys that would go to 3 martini lunches and charge their people all this money, and they didn't really do anything for them. I realized as a kid, it's all fraud. So when my dad said you should go to law school, I was like, no way. So I set off to own a private social club in the Bay Area and make a lot of money throwing parties and having fun, and ended up landing myself in a rehab like 20 years ago. So welcome to the party. So, you know, most of the people in our ministry, they're recovering Mormons, recovering Catholics, recovering Jehovah's Witnesses, recovering just pissed off, angry people.
You mean they're recovering from drugs?
Oh, everything from this false reality that we all live in, which causes people to want to go check out and do drugs or alcohol or porn or whatever it is they get.
Oh, you mean so they're recovering from being like a part of a denomination, is what you're saying?
That too. It's all of its lies. It's all of man, right? And
so you have a special kind of a denomination, and that's kind of what I was.
People ask us all the time, well, what denomination are you? And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Dinamo means to divide. Yeshua came to pull people together. We do etymology. I have a network I built in all the years of everything, Jack. The reason I got so excited when Chris told me to come check out this channel was because I met him years ago through my first YouTube channel that got taken down because I just couldn't hold my mouth about telling truth on YouTube. And
I'm sorry, you said you went to divinity school. So was it a particular denomination for the divinity school?
Oh, it was just Christian, but honestly, I went to 4 years of that, and then I went on and got a master's degree in it, but that wasn't really, I mean, that was just honestly getting me to read the stories, but I wasn't getting delivered from my anger, my addictions, my pissed offness of the world and everything.
Yeah.
It really wasn't, because I knew since I was little, it was all crazy, right? But I felt powerlessness. And I think that's what everybody feels before they just don't even, I mean, it's a surrender. It's like giving up the drugs or the alcohol or the porn or the shopping addiction or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Everybody has their thing they go to give them pleasure because they're in so much pain. And the pain is the separation from the Most High. And how does that happen? Politics, big pharma pumping us full of all kinds of crap and making our bodies sick. You know, when they make cannabis illegal for years, which is the most healing thing on the planet, and then they go make liquor of every single thing and cheap, so it's everywhere, right? So the point is, we have all been conditioned into, okay, you know, I watched my son. I'll just tell you a story about my son. I didn't even have him till I was 36. That's how messed up we were when I was a younger person. My life was one big party, like seriously. And now I have party with Jesus all the time with Yeshua. We got a live reggae Hawaiian band. They've been to Hebrew Fest in Missouri. Literally, I know all these people from all over the country just from our band going to Hebrew Fest.
You guys, you guys smoke weed in your church?
Are they what?
Do you guys smoke weed in your church?
They do. Everybody says when they come to
That's
our
great.
church, you guys are
Yeah,
the
that's my
cool.
kind of church right there.
I know, and everybody has dreads. They look just like you. The machine lies. I got a guy. His favorite.
No, don't
I
say
mean,
that. I'm unique. You know, God made me
You are
unique, and I'm the
unique.
well,
blueprints
I'm
of.
just saying, I love the
I got the
rustic.
blueprints of God. Yeah.
I got
He's a
I
rock
love
star from the
rustic
future.
hair.
Yeah, I'm my own guy.
Yeah. So anyway, I just want to share with you guys that, I've been trying to, because I've dealt with somebody who's belligerent and I love him, but I met him in the rehab 25 years ago and he walks as a Pharisee and he has to have all these deep conversations and wants me on his page all the time. And I'm like, I'm not on your page. I'm not on anybody's page. I can go to God myself. And I know I've been labeled before I got born again. I used to do tarot cards and all that stuff. Super, super prophetic. I just know stuff. I have a young man who's moving in with our house because of a Craigslist ad, because I told him what we do in the ministry. Came and met us and he goes, I feel like this is totally God. I'm so excited. And I'm like, I feel excited too, because he's a recovery counselor at 26 years old. I go, we don't have one of those yet in our ministry. We got this, we got that. We got all of these people that are all, like I said, Mormon, Catholic, all of them giving up all the man-made religions and just following scripture and going back to his real name, Yeshua HaMashiach, or Yahweh, Yah-El, the Most High, rather than Lord, which is a title, right? There's a lot of stuff I've been studying for a long time, at least 20 solid years, but it's just I'm not just proficient in the Bible. I know the legal versus the law. I could go into any court and walk out a free woman, knowing how to stand in my own lawful capacity and scare the crap out of the judge who will recuse himself and run out of the court. So
You need a driver's license?
I don't. I have a 4-star passport that I drive around with. I don't do you don't need it. You have a right to travel, but you have to learn all this stuff before you get out there just doing stuff. That's why we built the network. So we'd have ongoing education.
Well, license to drive and the right to travel are different things.
Oh, absolutely. License to drive is under the corporate beast system and you're doing commerce. But all of you guys, I'm assuming why you're here, is you don't really want to be in commerce. You want to be in Christ, right? You want to be free.
Well, we're not in commerce. And the UCC that you're referring to doesn't relate to states' laws regulating the right to operate a vehicle that's 2,000 pounds of steel.
I have to admit, I'm out of my element on that subject.
Just come to the network and come find out today, you guys. And thank you for sharing this with them. There's etymology of God's word on Wednesdays. Thursdays is the 508C. That's what I've been teaching and helping people set up for their ministries for years. Today is health secrets in the Bible. So at 3:00, I'm going to have to bop off here and go over to the network. But you guys can all go on this network. On the front page, there's a subscribe button. And that way you get a reminder of all the coaching and teaching, which we're talking to Jack about having him come on and have, a presence on our channel so you can have a show over there too. You guys, the harvest is huge. The laborers are few. We need everybody who wants to level up, to get in the game, to change your brain, because so many people, they live 95% out of their life out of programming, right? And the first 7 years, we are programmed the hardest. And it's really hard to unwire all of that stuff, especially if you've been traumatized. And most of everybody that I've ever met has been some kind of trauma in their childhood. No matter how much their mom or dad tried to do the best they could, think about it. We all have, even though the internet has a lot of bad stuff on it, has a lot of enlightenment stuff too to bring level up. So iron sharpeneth iron. I don't mind having conversations that might be differing opinion because everybody grew up in different religion, right? But if you can just agree to let's get into the scripture and just chuck all the stuff we know from that church or that denomination, which means to divide, and just get into scripture, that's what brings people together. And they're like, I never knew this. I never heard this before. I used to go to one of those cattle car churches as well, big 501c3 church. You guys know that those churches are state churches. We're not supposed to serve the state. We're supposed to be set apart spirit. The church is supposed to be free and free. And by the way, Christ, Yeshua, never called it. He never said, I'm going to build my church upon this rock, meaning Christ. He said, I'm going to build the ecclesia. Ecclesia, assembly, fellowships, they're all different, but church is a Catholic word. And those guys pretty much have sown the whole world of, total control. So there's so much education, and a lot of you guys have a lot of knowledge. But for me, I spent 20 years going, oh God, it's so frustrating, because it's like puzzle pieces, right? You get one little piece, you think you know it all, and then you just get whacked by the Most High. Like, I didn't know that. So it's always a state of growing. And I'm hoping that Tommy will, be open to calling me. I told him, send me his phone number. I'll call him and talk to him privately. But I don't do that anymore with anybody. If people start being belligerent, rude, disrespectful, it triggers me. I grew up with that. I don't want to be in Christ's presence fighting with people. I mean, we can talk to you and say, hey, I disagree with you, brother. Let me go do some study tonight. Let's bring up that subject again tomorrow. I call that iron sharpening iron. In fact, we have a men's ministry called Iron Sharpening Iron, because
that's the name of one of my shows on my channel. It's called Steel Sharpens Steel. It's kind of an interesting like coincidence. But yeah.
Well, there's no coincidences. I mean, even me meeting Chris.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, there's no accidents or no coincidences for sure. Yeah.
And it's, if you are being triggered by somebody, that's not Yeshua or the Most High working through. That is the accuser. The accuser is, Satan can bounce around in anybody. And I admit it, man, the only person left on this planet who can really get me going is my husband. But I'll tell you, like we talk about it all the time, because they said, we grew up in very toxic environments. We met in a rehab. They tell you, do not get involved in a relationship for at least a year. So what do? Get out, get together, and have 3 kids, right? Because I'm running
That's
out
the
of time.
13th step, isn't it? That's the 13th
right.
step. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I have a young man who's 23, who's been renting at I call it the ministry house, because my house is used for ministry every day. But he said, either you guys, I think Yah gave you Kelly to help you be strong to fight these battles you fight, because man, girl, you're tough. But he's the only one that can break my heart. And I told him, I said, I'm tough enough now. You've made me so tough that I can go into courtrooms and scare Supreme Court judges to death. But the bottom line is, I said, you're either going to start speaking to me with a divine speak. We have to reprogram ourselves, because you guys can go round and round, and people might come and listen to you guys' channel here, but if you allow that to go on all the time, people will leave just because they have enough of it in their own life. They don't want to come to a channel and be beat up, or
surprised.
Jack might just say, I've had enough of all you folks. I'm going to go just hang out there in Hawaii and forget y'all. So just, one of the things I could share is, if you guys can look up Robert's Rules of Order. I started an assembly here in Hawaii because we have 50 states that need to be back to common law. I started, a little white Halle woman, 60 years old, started this assembly in Hawaii, and I got it done. We have 60 some people, and we're trying to educate that there's 2 jurisdictions. There's the jurisdiction of the living, and there's the jurisdiction of the dead. And everything in the Bible says, do not touch any dead thing. Well, our name was turned into a dead thing. It's a corporate franchise. That's why we have to pay taxes and all. But when you start not using your legal name for anything, you get a secure party creditor, you get your 4 or 5-star passport, you declare and decree who you are. They can't touch you anymore. They can't tax you anymore. When you're operating as a 508, which all of you can, you don't have to go to cemetery school to get a certificate to get a 508c. I can help you guys all with that. You can have your own ministry with your YouTube channel. You can set up Cash App, Venmo, whatever. It's, people want to give you love offering. It goes straight into your 508 ministry trust. And it's forever free. It's so divine. It's literally the answer of getting out of the system and being able to be in the world, but not of the world. But part of being not of the world is not talking like the world, which is usually violent, angry, mean, hateful, right? So we want to talk with love and light with each other, speak truth. We might not always agree with each other. Even Ragamuffin and I don't always. We've known each other for years, but I love him and he loves me. We've been friends for years. So it's just, I think men have a harder time with it. So it's,
I never said I loved you. No, I'm just playing.
You have to. You are
yeah, definitely. And real quick, I didn't get a chance to say what up. I didn't get a chance to say what up to Flow State. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate your channel. And
Thank you.
I've been farting around over there. I was over there the other night listening in. Yeah, man, for sure.
Right on.
Beautiful.
Tommy says 555 drop me in. I think he's asking if he can come back in. I'm okay with it. I'll be nice and he'll be nice, but I'm sorry. I am a mom and I don't put up with that.
It makes
This
sense.
man
that,
right here is my best friend.
The apple is your
Aw.
like, you send the apple in first and then you come in, right? Like you are a new age blasphemer demon from hell.
Tommy.
That's what he said about me too.
Even
when
the
we first
Lord
met.
raged those bankers out of his church. And Jack, Aaron
Tommy,
Gauchi put a
we are
demon
not
in
the
Bobby.
bankers, Tommy. We are not the
I
bankers.
didn't.
You are not the
that's
Christ.
No, it's okay.
raging
I
against-
don't claim I'm the Christ. I don't claim to be the judge, but you are a liar and a fiend, Jack.
You don't claim to be the judge as you claim me to be a liar and a fiend. God bless you. brother.
Walking in love, you guys, and walking in the word is not being blasphemous. It's not this. And the bankers suck. I'm learning right now how to do 1099 OID and get all your debts discharged right now. I've got a girlfriend at a David Straight program right now at a private thing. I just talked to her this morning and she goes, oh my gosh, I'm learning another process. And she's going to teach on our network. And she goes, this is stuff you can get killed for knowing. But that's why we made it a private 508c1a, because you can't be shut down with your voice. They can't take your status away from you because it's completely separate jurisdiction. Right. So that's the hardest thing for people to wrap their head around. If there's actually two different jurisdictions operating. There's public and private. All the uber rich people live in the private. They all have 508Cs, which they shouldn't, because I don't believe the Church of Satan should have the 508C. If you look up 508, you guys can all go look it up right now in Strong's Concordance. It means the upper room. Where did Yeshua take his people? To the upper room. So, I mean,
Hey, ma'am,
Yes.
are you doing a privately owned, government operated sales pitch here?
I think she's doing a privately owned, privately operated sales pitch.
Okay, I'm just trying to get it figured out. Go ahead. Thanks, Jack. This is
No,
interesting. I wanted to hear this.
it's all
She's
about
basically self pitching it. But
it's just, I'm just trying to share with you guys, if you want more education and remedies, there's remedies. You just got to find them and utilize them. But you got to study. You can't utilize any of this. I've gotten in trouble with some of it, getting all gung-ho, thinking I understood it all, and I didn't. So there's you have to learn how to do all the stuff properly. Anyway, like you, Jack, my only intention, Ragamuffins known me for a long time. We met through Jonathan Kleck. We were both Kleckies.
oh, other pogos. I know who that is.
Brother Jonathan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just like your private link that you want people to click on because you got it all.
I don't have it all, baby, but I have some of it, and I have more than the average person. And if you can help them from hurting, whether it's recovery or it's just praise and worship music or learning the scriptures or getting out of pain and suffering, that's what we're supposed to do. And Yeshua is the only way, period. Know that one for a fact.
I see that as the symbol of love.
I mean,
amen.
100. And it absolutely is. These folks that want to come in and disrupt things, man, we're in here trying to build. We're trying to come up with alternative ways of living life in spite of a tyrannical system that we all find ourselves in, calling the world, right? The Matrix, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And most of us here have done some research for some years, looked into some things, right? And we're really trying to come up with new ways of what does life look like going forward. How do we all come together? How do we make better choices for ourselves and for those around us? And how can we become more loving, right? And each time one of these fools comes up in here, man, it's just derailing things. It's because it's a time waster, right? Because They don't want to take time to listen to what's being said. They'd rather name call and get involved in drama. Nonsense. So maybe what we need to do is play a little game of ping pong. We give them a cookie, give them a juice box, and send them out the door. You know, daycare's over. You know,
Care's over.
send them back to mommy and daddy. Because
you guys can't get anything done with changing the world unless we change ourselves. People aren't attracted to that. When people, I mean, I was like that. I understand because I was pissed off at the system, and I would go yell at the 501c3 pastors. What are you doing? You're keeping people. They couldn't receive it because I was not, even though I was right, I was wrong because of the delivery, because I couldn't get past my anger. And I was trying to shove down all these years of knowledge down their head with facts. And I would come in armed like a lawyer with, look at this, look at this. You know, if I don't come in with the right heart, you know, and speak to them that they can hear me, then they would just shut me down. I was like, this crazy lady's got all this telling them, you know, you're teaching the people all the wrong stuff. They didn't know. They just followed the system. They were told they were supposed to get a 501c3 to have a church. That's not true at all, but that's the system. They lie, and lie. And we buy it all. So we just go do whatever it says. The people, not even the government, other pastors, you need to do this, right? And they all just follow along with the world. So I yield.
I got a question for you, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
If someone's sick, right? How would you treat that sickness? Say, for example, they got heart problems, or they're obese, or they have high blood pressure, right? You try to go to the root and see what.
Interesting. You should ask that. Today,
No, I'm gonna ask.
No, I have all kinds. We have Bible cures from the Bible, like Leviticus 2:13 about salting every meal. And I have another one, a little 29-year-old minister who's got 90,000 people on TikTok. That's all he does is make salt stuff about the salt covenant. And he'll be teaching every other week. He's teaching on the network next week. I got another guy who survived cancer on a product made of salt and water, ironically. So all of it's biblical. Everything that we do, any thing that we teach on our platform is all tried, true, and tested. And we go back to scripture to make sure everything is biblical. I've just learned anything that's made of man and you can't even read it on a bottle, you probably shouldn't put it in your body. I mean, you guys hear about the appeal, the apples that Bill Gates is trying to turn all the apples into this thing called a peel. And when you burn the skin of the apple, it burns. I mean, this is the shit they're trying to patent and put in our bodies and turn us into I
understand. I mean, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I got a follow-up question. That's why I asked you that.
Sure.
So if somebody has an addiction, you're against addiction, right? If somebody's got alcoholic issue.
I had an alcohol issue. I had all kinds of issues.
No, I'm not asking you what issue I'm not asking you what issue you have. I'm asking you, are you against the addiction in terms of somebody being on drugs?
I think it's just they're on drugs because they're in pain. Nobody wants to be a drug addict. Nobody wants to be an alcoholic. They end up because that was what at one point in their life got them temporarily, as Jack said, numb to stop the pain. But then the pain becomes so big, you can't stop the addiction, and only the intervention of the Spirit. And it doesn't, some people get it right away. Like I get so jealous of those people who get Holy Spirit delivered and they're just like, never go back to stuff, right? I wasn't one of those people. I was in recovery for years. And then finally, even after Bible school, honestly, I went to Bible school thinking that would heal me, but it wasn't. It was private time.
The Spirit healed you? I'm sorry, the Spirit healed you, right?
I totally believe the Spirit healed me. Because I had
so here's my final question for you. Here's my final question for you. I'm sorry. So if the Spirit healed you, why is it okay for you to smoke weed while you're in church? You said earlier. I'm just wondering. Since you're not in pain.
Bible, it says about herb. He made the herb, right?
Yeah.
Herb. I've got 3 or 4 natural path teachers who teach health on our website as well. Who just God brought them into my life, and they said the reason they made cannabis illegal was it gives people a feeling of well-being, better than Prozac, better than any of the man-made that are made from petroleum. Most of the pharmaceutical, they're byproducts of the petroleum industry that shouldn't be in your body either.
Not as good as heroin, though.
Yeah, I agree with Floss.
When I'm just saying, and it's not like everybody smokes weed, but if they have anxiety and they're still in the process of healing, which a lot of them are, and a lot of them are really trying to get off alcohol permanently, and it's a slow thing too, because you can't. I
understand that.
All I'm just saying is, like, we don't say, "Oh, everybody smoke weed." It's just if they want to, we don't care.
I understand.
Even if they showed up drunk at the beach, I'd still love on them. I have a car full. I go to the beach. That's where we hold our service. There's a lot of homeless people there. We have a car full of like shoes and clothing and food and toiletry, and we just take care of everybody. We're not judgmental of anybody's situation.
Because I noticed. Just generally, I noticed that certain people, the cannabis makes them highly ruminative, and that puts them in a state of dysphoria.
Yes,
so immediately it'll be like it'll cause the opposite effect to the certain people who are not ready to deal with maybe a highly ruminative state where they're kind of because it affects them in a way that it makes them a little bit catatonic, and then it gives them social anxiety. So I know I did notice that. For me, I think it works because I was put on Ritalin as a kid. I noticed a lot of people that were put on SSRIs and like Ritalin as a kid, they have a heavy addiction to cannabis, to where I sometimes think it's manufactured by the system, because I think, like, okay, it's funny that they put 5 million children on Ritalin, and then they legalize weed later, and all those kids end up becoming addicted to the weed. Or I don't know if that's true or not, but
no, they do.
I do know that
there's other factors though. It's not just always the weed. It's the way they're smoking the weed. If they're putting it in a blunt wrap that's tobacco, that's pulling somebody in a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and actually has glue in it too, because it has glue that binds the blunt together. So actually, if you're smoking a blunt, you're actually smoking industrial glue.
Yes,
and a lot of that weed has hell of pesticides and a lot more stuff right on it than even most food.
Yeah, so you have to get natural weed, but generally cannabinoids, they do have a good effect because you have endogenous cannabinoids that are produced by your system, like anandamide and 2-AG
100
and stuff, and they actually like 2-AG acts as a neuroprotectant, and anandamide actually works with your serotonergic nervous system and alters your mood and controls your appetite and stuff. So it does have certain benefits to it if you're just looking at it on a scientific level as well.
And from a biblical perspective,
where'd he go?
Yeah, Ragamuffin, you cut out there if you don't know, but yeah, hopefully you'll get back on there.
But I'm sorry to interrupt. To touch on what Machine Lies was saying, which is 100% correct, to the lady. Ma'am, you said you have the spirit inside of you. Now, do you have any anxiety as you speak in front of people? I'm just wondering.
Now, no. I could speak in front of thousands of people and I could care less.
Beautiful. So do you still smoke weed till now?
Do I smoke weed now?
What is the point of this questioning?
Oh, there's a point to it. Let me ask you one more question.
What is it?
All right, here we go, Jack. The point is, if you have the spirit inside of you and you have no anxiety and you're healthy and you're mentally conscious, you don't need to smoke weed. That goes against any religious biblical view.
Okay.
So
it doesn't. It goes against your biblical view. It does not go against all biblical views.
That's not true. Check the Bible.
What is your point? Are you trying to cast aspersions? Are you saying
what I'm saying
he's trying to bring the
what is your point?
The Protestant worldview.
If you're such in the religious, let me speak and I'll tell you my point. If you're in the religious spiritual mindset, you shouldn't be in any state of mind. Hold on, you shouldn't be in any state of mind where you're incoherent even a little bit. That means you're weak. You're failing somewhere in the spiritual context.
Weak to be looked down on and condemned.
I didn't condemn anybody.
Dude?
I'm not condemning anybody. I just don't think drugs should be in churches or
congratulations, you have
cannabis
a thought.
isn't a drug, homie. It's an herb.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
No, it's an herb.
congratulations. Can we move on? You totally distracted from the whole fucking point of what I believe was being offered. But hey, you want to single in on the fact that cannabis might be allowed? Holy shit!
Yeah, we got an
group that
endocannabinoid
promotes
system,
love
bud.
and-
I mean,
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I used to do CBD oil, and at first I was really hesitant because I grew up with the bar attorney said, "Oh, that's going to take you to hell and a gateway to all these other drugs." I've never done any other drugs in my whole life. I didn't even smoke weed till I was 50 because I, like Jack, was, well, it's legal to drink wine and beer, right? Who cares about what legal is? Anything legal is a deception. Lawful is what's in the word, and it does say he made the herb. That's what we call it. That's what everybody calls it. It's not in the Bible weed, but I truly believe that when people partake of cannabis, whether it's just once in a while or every day, if it helps them to stay grounded and calm while they're in recovery, because it takes a long time for people to recover from all the crap they've been through in their life, that they can focus and they can be with people in a loving, gentle way without being belligerent and mean and nasty to everybody. I think that is helpful more than helping. Let's just put it this way. I had a girlfriend back in Hermosa Beach back 20 some years ago, because I've been in Hawaii for 20 years, that I asked to be my AA sponsor. She was a freaking Nazi, but back then I needed it. So, but she was like, "Oh, you're never allowed to smoke weed. You're never allowed to do any mind altering drug." And she was so scary to me. I mean, I did everything she said, but she drove me freaking crazy because it was so militant. It wasn't coming from a place of love. It was coming from like, you have to do it this way. Well, guess what she does today, 20 years later? She's into mushrooms and childhood inner trauma healing, and she uses cannabis, and she does these ceremonies. It goes back as the oldest time to heal people. And she said to me, I told her, I said, "I like this new Joanne so much better because you're so much more loving and kind. I think you probably help a lot more people like this than you did."
Yeah,
before."
I think that's the main reason why like cannabis and mushrooms are kind of drugs that I trust, because you could look at it and see what it is. Like you could look at a pill, like you really don't know what's in it unless you know like the constituents of like how they made it. And that's a laboratory process, but you could look like mushrooms just grow, like that's just how they are. And
Well,
like
who
weed just
designed the
grows, like you
mushrooms?
could just look at
Who
it. Yeah.
designed the mushrooms
Does
machine?
that thought process apply to all mushrooms?
Well,
Well, no,
if you know like how they grew them, and like you've seen the process how they grew them, and like you know how they grow them and they come out the same way, like then you could basically trust like what it's gonna do when you ingest it if you have a tried use of it. But if you're using a chemical that's developed in a laboratory, then you're really at the discretion of the people who made it, you know, in a way, you know.
Sure, I get that. I don't disagree with that aspect, but just because
Yeah.
something's from nature does not mean it's good for you.
Oh no! I'm just saying
Poison ivy's not good
you
for
could
us either.
verify. You could easily verify the constituents of it because it just comes out like grown like a certain way, especially if you know how it was grown, you know. But you couldn't do the same thing with the laboratory because you would have to know how to construct it yourself. You would have to be like an expert that knows how to make the drug in a laboratory, for example. You know, the technique would be a lot more complex, you know.
Psilocybin mushrooms just takes horse cow shit.
Yeah, really. Like they just kind of it's not really a complicated process on how they grow there. Yeah.
And Jack, I wasn't against the weed situation in medical use or anything like that. All I was saying to you, there's a lot of young kids, young adults that are stressed out, have a lot of addiction. If they go to, they're not going to smoke it to relax. They're smoking it exactly like Machine said, Elias, that said they're going to get the euphoria. That's all they're going to do is get high. So how do you, as a holy person, saying it's okay when you know it hurts other people? That was my question.
Well, ultimately, you shouldn't depend on any material thing for your, enlightenment or your happiness. Happiness should come from inside of yourself. You should have the wherewithal to get, like they say, like you shouldn't need anything else. But to those people who are suffering, it could provide some sort of aid. I think it can.
Well, and to some people, getting high is a higher state of consciousness. It raises the elevation of one's vibration, which can be achieved without that. It can be achieved with stillness and meditation. But that's what that is. So getting high is a higher state of consciousness. It's misunderstood. Just like the gentleman that called her New Age earlier. We're not speaking on anything new. Talking about vibration, frequencies. These are all true things. People ask the question, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear the sound, does it still make a sound? Yes, of course. It's a vibration. Everything's vibrational. So cannabis helps people alter their vibration, and creating new synapses in the mind. The Rastas call this food for the brain.
That is
It's
not
definitely
true.
not a
Right?
higher state of consciousness.
and-
And you
is
want to
not
talk
true
about
at all.
observing the biblical canon and not observing cannabis? Well, it depends on who you are. If you're observing it from the Protestant or Catholic perspective, then probably so. But if you're observing the Ethiopian canon and you're observing it as the Rastafarians observe it, yes, they use it. Yes, it's a sacrament. Cannabis,
So let's say I'm allergic to
ganja.
weed, right? I walk in church, right? And I'm allergic to weed, and half of the people are smoking weed, or they smoked it before they came
Oh
in there.
my God.
Oh, I'm
Not
just
a-
saying. I mean,
Tarek,
you gotta put it out
tell you
there,
what.
Jack.
Tell you what, Tarek, rather than imagining yourself with a fucking allergy at a church that you're imagining that you don't like, how about we change the subject?
Go
Okay?
ahead. You can change
So
it.
it's
Yeah?
Christ, oh dear, man. This dealing on drugs. Okay. I don't necessarily agree completely
It's gone
with
so
what
bad that smoke and get high to
Ragamuffin
be in a
said.
church or a mosque or a synagogue.
What are you
But
doing,
go ahead.
Tarek?
Change it. No, I'm just saying it's sad that our scholar, the holy
Okay.
people, now saying it's okay to be high and a little bit,
Hey,
whatever the
Tarek.
case may be, to be in
Hey,
church.
Tarek, that's obviously a big concern for you. So look within yourself to find out why you hold that judgment. And more so, I was just speaking. Maybe you can't hear. Is my volume too soft?
No, you're good.
I don't understand this panel stuff, man. Holy cows. People are like having a conversation is like herding cats. I love you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
I love
That's
you
what
guys.
you sign up for when you open
I'd
a
like to
panel.
read you guys something because one of my mentors told me that the holy anointing oil, as described in the original Hebrew version, is a recipe in Exodus 30:22 through 23. And it contained over 6 pounds of, I'm going to say it, I don't know how to say it in Hebrew, KANEH-BOSEM, a substance identified by respected etymologists, linguists, anthropologists, botanists, and other researchers as cannabis, extracted into about 6 quarts of olive oil, along with a variety of other fragrant herbs. And this is 1450 BC, Book of Exodus. So, yeah, guys, it's a holy herb. And I believe that.
The healing of the nations.
I got to go because I'm going to have to go get ready for this other show here in a
Okay,
minute.
where's the other show? Is it open panel?
It's not an open panel today. It's a teaching. Today's teaching is for a gentleman who had 2 forms of Roundup lymphoma cancer and 2 weeks given. He's Australian, 2 weeks given to live. I mean, he said, I'm not going to die. And between his faith and some friend of his showed up with something he got on made of salt and water. Actually, there's the link. But you have to download WebEx and WebEx meetings to make this work. You got to go in and set yourself up a WebEx account. We used to use Zoom, but all of our data goes straight to China, and this is private encrypted. It's a better network. So anyway, but the reason I'm sharing this about the holy anointing oil is, like I said, like Jack and many, 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 many people have maybe not become full-on blown alcoholics that they have to go rehab after rehab after rehab, but they battle with, when they're stressed out or what have you, they drink too much or they smoke too much or they do whatever too much. You know what I'm saying? But
Praise God, sister.
yeah.
5 times in the Old Testament did the term cannibalism appear, and the bozos still can't figure out what they were speaking of.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm old, you guys. You guys are all way younger than me. So I've been at this for a while, for 20 years. My mission is what Jack is starting here on this network with you guys, of trying to put the puzzle pieces together. And, I was telling Jack the other night, one of my favorite books I read as a young person, which was by a Christian man, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And he said, you don't have to be great at everything. Surround yourself with other people. Well, you can have the smartest people that are the biggest asses on the planet. I don't want to hang out with them. I'd rather hang out with people who are a lower level intelligence and have a loving heart and kind, because they are the ones that you can actually get stuff done with. But
Yeah,
ego
control.
people who are just,
Yeah,
the ego to me is edging God out. Because you think you're God, you know, our
That
politicians,
sounds kind of hot.
doctors, the lawyers, all
the
of these
edging part.
guys. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm a teacher. I went to school to be a teacher too. So I love teaching because I think education is emancipation. And all of us level up. It is iron sharpening iron. All I'm saying is I love you guys' group. I'd love to come every day. But if everybody would
So do I. I just want to be clear.
speak in kindness and love and not combative belligerence, because nobody wants to deal with that. It's like, why do I want to hear this? I can watch stupid mainstream news and watch this crap. So everybody wants to like level
Where'd
up.
you come up with this one, Jack? You finally got a live wire on the line here.
She's a blessing
Jack, a
who
muffin.
arrived yesterday.
I'm going to have to look her over at some point. Has she appeared in the flesh yet? Have we seen the physical?
Thank you,
Tomorrow
no.
I'll actually get dressed up. I'm sitting here in my pajamas. I've been calling all day long to promote our meeting this afternoon. I've had 2 ministry meetings I had to do over the phone this morning. So I'll put some makeup on and show up in person so you guys can put the face with the name. But right now I'm sitting here with greasy hair and not dressed in my pajamas. So yeah, you're gonna
all right. No makeup though. Me and Jack want to see what we're going to wake up to in the raw. You know what I'm saying? We don't want any illusions here.
Okay.
And I say me and Jack because we share a bed at this point. So if you're going to share one of us, you got to get the other. It's a package deal. I'll explain later. It's complicated.
No worries, but I am going to have to get off. So if you guys do want to join, the name of the network is www.tkc.network, and it stands for Thy Kingdom Come. And the whole vision and mission is education in all the different areas of our life, not just scripture, but health, wealth. How do we survive the banking thing? How do we just survive when they collapse the whole system and put everybody in CBDC? And then you're going to have to take the mark of the beast, Luciferese tattoo on your hand or forehead. How are you going to avoid that? We've been working on this for years, trying to figure all this stuff out. So yeah, we don't have all the answers by any means, but we sure have come up with some private remedies in this current crazy reality. It's like remedies in reality. If you want to live private, you want to keep your name, get out of that legal name, because that legal name is what gets us all in trouble. And you set up, you don't have to do it with me. There's 20 different people doing 508c processes out there, and they range from $1,000, $2,000 to $25,000 teaching this stuff. We're pretty much teaching for free, and then people can get whatever they need. And it's, I am sales pitch, I guess, for the network, because it's a lot of educators. Definitely not me. It's the Napoleon Hill thing. After 20 years, God has brought me people like Ragamuffin and now meeting Jack. And I have a pretty good level of discernment at this point. I work for like bar attorneys, you guys. So I grew up with belligerent, argumentative people that make you feel small and insignificant. And I've learned, like you guys are asking me, am I afraid to talk in front of people? Because I don't have shame about what I used to have shame about. I mean, when you're a functioning, binge drinker, which I was, and trying to like keep the, illusion I had it all together, but really I was a mess. And in the private, I wasn't the same as in the public. It was like a phony. It was like Barbie on the outside and like going nuts in the psych ward on the inside. So I don't want to be an actress anymore. I want to be authentic. I want to be real. And I want to find other people who just want to do that too. And I'm not saying Tommy doesn't want to do that, but right now he's struggling with anger. And I know anger very well. I've met many, many people who
And he's struggling with the giving up the whole being an actress part, right? He's still wanting that.
He wants to be the provocateur. That's fine. But I would think you guys are trying, from what I understand from Jack, and he's the one who started this channel, he wants to start bringing peace and healing to people. We're never going to find it by acting like the world with the left-right paradigm of fighting over this. And it just goes nowhere. I mean, like, absolutely, we could be here 20 years having the same arguments and like you're dead. So that's kind of a waste of time, right? So I've literally been so blessed. Once I let go and just kind of turned it all over to however he was going to put things together, then like life got really fun, like supernatural, like miracles all the time. And it was like, wow, that's really cool. God, how did you do that? I don't even care anymore. He just does it. It's like me and Ragamuffin meeting. I mean, he just called me out of the blue one day and we've been friends ever since. So, you know, and like I said, we'd have, Chris, if we had disagreements on a lot of stuff, Ragamuffin, can you unmute for a minute? I don't know if he's not listening, but we have, I mean, he's called me about girl talks and, you know, just all kinds of stuff over the years, you know, and I haven't always agreed with his thinking, but I've been there for him, you know, like that's what we're called to do, is be brothers and sisters and pray with each other, level up together, help each other, but cursing each other out and calling each other names and being like that, it's really immature and I just don't have time for it anymore. But you guys are a delight, such a blessing. Tomorrow I'll actually fix my hair and put at least a little bit of lipstick on so I look pretty. And I'll come hang out with y'all. But I love you. I hope if you guys want to join us this afternoon and learn about this stuff that saved this man's life from cancer. Most everybody's got at least one or two people in their life right now with some kind of cancer. And it's really sad. But we do have several different kinds of remedies. This is just one of them. But come anytime you guys want. I would suggest if you really want to learn about common law and changing your status and the trusts and all, come like once a day. There's a lesson that's a live teacher. I'm not teaching. I've picked out the best teachers. They stay in their lane. I just bring good fruit. I'm the fruit finder. I just bring people to the party. So anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to share today. And Jack, you're the best. And Tommy, love you too. I hope that we can have a conversation. Send me your phone number to my email address and I will call you privately and we'll talk, brother, if you want. Okay, God
Thank you, sister. And if you see someone creeping around your house looking in your windows, it's probably Snafu Snaps. Don't even worry about it. He's just kind of hanging out investigating.
Oh, yeah. And I was going to give you guys our Zoom link too, in case on Saturday morning, tomorrow morning. It's also on the WebEx platform as well, but it's also on Zoom if you can't figure out the WebEx.
Jack, you're going to let her continue with all these plugs? I didn't want to say anything, but I mean, come on.
It's a total sale. It's a total sale.
Class.
Jesus.
Let's be real. She's selling shit. Selling cancer cures. Yeah.
It's almost done.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Hey, are you open to sponsoring my Patriot prophylactic or what? Let's just get right down to it.
At today's presentation, can we buy the cancer cure as well?
It's faith in this product that saved him. That's it. It's all just his own story, right? I've been on this stuff for years. We won't get rid of it because it gets rid of all your like pain. I mean, I'm not gonna.
But I have faith already. Can I buy that stuff though?
I think faith comes by just practicing it every day. You know, showing up in your life.
In other news, Jack and I have gotten together in a joint endeavor. We're actually now selling actual cancer. So if you want to pick some of that up. Enslaved.com.
You pass that out to your mailing list, then you could sell more product if you gave everybody cancer first.
Well, that was the legal system. That's our legal system's job in the world corporate system, make us all sick so they can sell us more fake shit to fix us.
That's correct.
You guys know about the Hegelian dialectic, right?
Sure, yeah.
You make the problem and then you make the so-called solution. I mean, what about COVID?
Oh yeah. I teach about that I teach about Hegel on my show. I read about I read the philosophy of Hegel. I read the phenomenology of spirit and all that stuff. Yeah.
Are you aware of the homunculi dialectic on these panels?
Don't know about that. You'll have to talk about that tomorrow. But I really got to go.
Right, we'll get into it later.
Hey, I signed up for the emails. And I didn't get a link to today's thing. How do I get that?
You got to download WebEx to either your phone or your device with your iPad or whatever, and then you have just like a Zoom account. You make a WebEx account, right? But it works best on the platform with no hiccups if you have WebEx link and the WebEx meetings. They kind of work together. But once you've done that, then you just go right on the front page of TKC. And then you just scroll down to where Jack showed you before and you hit the Friday teaching, 3 p.m. Hawaii time, 9 p.m. East Coast, 6 p.m. California time. And
hey, Jack wants to know if you got any pictures or videos on there, preferably from that wild time in your life.
There's not.
Jack.
I'll dig up small pictures of my wildlife and share them with you guys later. But gotta go. Love you guys. See you tomorrow or maybe this afternoon.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you later. Jack, big score on this one, huh?
Right?
Who's seen this coming?
Sounds like your type.
the interesting thing is yeah, Ragamuffin and her and I, very similar energies and inspiration, and similar to what she said recently. Here, I'll do that. Recently, I've been reaching more deeper levels of surrender. And all of a sudden, holy cows, new people show up and conversations are happening.
It's a sell. It's a sell. If you're selling that sort of product and you come across this group chat, this looks like a fantastic place to market some bullshit.
Exactly.
Or
wow, the imagining disagreements is like full speed today, huh?
Well, a lot of pessimism, and everyone's got doubts and, wants to think the worst of everybody. But it's like, well, what I resonate with is discussions on faith, loving one another, bringing forth change and freedom into the world, and educating people. That's what we're about too, right? So it shouldn't seem so, I don't know. I do intend, I'm probably going to wrap up shortly, because I do want to explore that and see what they're sharing. I don't know. I'm just met. I'm exploring it myself. So
I know that 508s don't create a new entity. It's a 501c3. It basically codifies tax exemption for religious institutions. It's not a whole separate entity, and it's not an absence of government oversight. If it were an absence of government oversight, you wouldn't have a government code attached to it.
I'd agree. I understand that. There's a lot of programs and a lot of communities that are being built. Rather than finding all the flaws, I'd rather see the good, and there is a lot of good to be found.
That's
based on what I understood. She's got people that are sharing their testimonies, their expertise. If it's an opportunity for me to grow in what I'm trying to do, I may explore it. I don't know what the future's going to bring.
Jack, can I just...
I just said don't give him a credit card number. Sorry. Go, Terry.
No, you're fine. Jack, I felt like you got a little offended by me asking her polite questions, right? You have to understand, I go by the force, right? I go by what I feel inside when somebody talks, right? What I'm saying to you, I agree with you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I've seen Tarek. I've seen your patterns, and I've also seen how you're strong-willed and all up for Paul, but you're pretty critical of me and many others.
I'm not. I didn't say anything to you today. Nothing. If I see good, I see good. Yeah.
I know. Maybe I did read too much into it. Maybe I am a little sensitive from the past patterns I've seen of you, but
I'm working on myself. I promise that.
What I felt was that the focus on the cannabis, it was kind of a distraction from the conversation where we could have developed more about what she was doing as far as these testimonies, the cost, what we could have answered a lot of these accusations, or assumptions.
Yeah, I wanted to know more about how she, what type of organization she really had, and I was trying to ask certain questions directed at, but yeah, I did kind of, I was kind of interested in the smoking weed in the church, and I think that that did kind of go into a weird segment because I just thought it was interesting because it is an odd kind of I mean, it's highly unconventional, but in terms of I mean just a church in Hawaii, you're just smoking weed
on the beach in Hawaii. Yeah, that's where the service is. So let's bring this shit into context, right?
Yeah, I like the vibe there, but yeah, I'm sorry that it got distracted after that, but yeah, I was intrigued by that.
Yeah, Jack, I wasn't trying to distract. I get what you're saying, and machine lies. He's absolutely correct. But here's the thing with people that are very holy and religious: they are put to a higher standard in terms of what they know and what they preach. So when they come onto a show or broadcast,
by everybody, they should be. They should be. If you're going to preach to somebody, if you're going to, it's a self-empowerment, right?
Yeah.
They hold themselves at higher standards when you preach down at somebody. Absolutely.
Okay. who is okay? That is your problem for looking at someone doing this as preaching down. If you can see this,
if you're telling me,
hold on. If you can see this as a fellow peer, sharing their faith, sharing their inspiration, and I didn't see any calls for cash.
if you're telling me what God thinks, you're speaking on God's behalf to me. How is that not an up-down relationship?
I'm 100% with Flow State and on that one, and also with the Machine Lies, where when you get in the foyer area and you're trying to say it's okay for everybody to smoke weed, it doesn't matter where you're at.
Oh my God.
No, I'm not against not smoking weed, Jack. You have to
To
understand.
answer what Flow State just said, I mean, the conceptualization would be that through fellowship, one could activate the same space and force within themselves. So it's not a supposition that one remains above or beyond the apprehension of the other who they're preaching to, in quotes, as you say.
No,
Right? So I don't think any.
Status.
Say again?
Not as a permanent status. It doesn't mean that you will forever be condemned to
Right,
a up-down relationship. But
the prerequisite for the interaction has to be that the being who's being preached to has to believe or feel that the other being has something they want. If that process isn't taking place, there's no point in engaging in the process, because now you have somebody preaching rather than doing fellowship and leading where they've gone, right?
Correct. But it's in that relationship, it isn't. That's exactly why originally we came into this by saying they are held to a higher standard. Yes, if you're explaining something to me that I don't know about, there is a higher standard on you for that information than there is on me for that information. That's the dynamic of the relationship. The
standard should be in the ability to deliver the message, not in your fucking opinions of what they do. I do understand though. I do understand though too. For someone to learn, there does need to be some sort of respect. You do need to see the one who's sharing the message as credible and to be trusted. So I'm backing off what I first, and there was obvious interest that I guess I didn't catch on to, but you guys sure cared about. So I'm sorry for the way I may have reacted with it, but
you're an optimist, and there's got to be some optimists around. We can't all be fucking nitpickers, I suppose.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jack.
Hey, I do feel like wrapping this up. Sure. I want to sincerely thank you for parting words. You guys share what you feel, please.
Well, I want to thank the panel, Jack, because I think like having Machine Lies, Flow State, even though sometimes we don't agree with each other, Paul, everybody on here, and with you also sometimes being a little bit emotional, it will still get the point across. Yeah, I have to say it's okay. We're men, we can take it. We have to get the point across, and maybe I don't know something that so it's good to have everybody on here. I appreciate everybody's opinion, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Eric. God bless.
You too. Yeah.
Why does this narrative keep getting written that Jack Talcott is a poor guy and that he's like disempowered? And, why do we want to keep writing this script? Even if that's true at one point, why are we still affirming that, manifesting that?
Because there's only 24 likes. The people can do better than that. And I don't really care about it, but supposedly it helps the algorithms. And
I even forgot.
It's all bullshit, Jack. You know it.
It could be. It could be. I'm gonna start throwing people out. Anyone pressing? I know you're being polite.
Thanks for having us, Jack. Blessings to everybody and all the new faces. And what up, everybody? I'm here for unity and bringing everybody together. And one of my all-time favorite heroes is Bob Marley, and his philosophy on life and one love and bringing everybody together. Like that's what I'm all about. And I'm not always on my best behavior. So this has been a fun night though, for sure. Appreciate everybody.
Kind of ballsy bringing up Bob Marley on Jack's panel. I mean, if you're going to say your top hero for choosing love and peace, I would have thought Jack, but whatever. Just fucking ban him and not let him back. Fuck him, am I right?
Ballsy for a whole nother reason. I thought he was sucking up to the Machine Lies so that he wouldn't dive into her supposed expertise in religion. But
You guys are too fun.
Like
thanks
Bob
for having me
Marley
on
needs
again.
more promotion, right? Asshole.
His music isn't even that good. I know it's blasphemy, but it's kind of boring sometimes. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyways, there's a lot of things there that, and I said this actually last night on my stream when I just caught a little bit of her talking. I think she's absolutely hustling snake oil. She would refuse to go into any specifics at all. WebEx is definitely Big Brother data collection, even more than any other videos thing. I'm just, the whole way through, there was gaps and holes all over, but she's very good at maneuvering around and staying at the top view, right? Not getting into any specifics. So anyways,
what is WebEx, if you could briefly describe?
It's a video chat thing. It's owned by Cisco though, which is a Fortune, it's like 82 on the Fortune 5 or Fortune 100 companies. It's big data. So a lot of her explanations or her reasons don't make sense. A 508 isn't a different entity from a 501c3. It's just a codification of tax exemption. There's a whole lot of things that she said there that
blah blah blah. I'm going to speak for Jack and I think here freely. If that woman wants our snake oil, she can have it.
All right, later.
All right. Thank you, Flo. Blessings. And Machine Lives, thoughts?
Yeah, I guess just going off of what I said earlier, I guess when two things we have a lot of strange interactions, but when two things merge in nature, I guess they either combine or they collide, and either way they take part of each other away. And I think Paul will agree, like in the Tao it says Wu Wei, and that's doing, not doing. It's kind of like a process of undoing as well as doing, to engage all things as we do nothing, and creating yet not owning what we produce, because life is activity and not production. But yeah, thank you for having me on, and bless you guys. And thank you to the panel and to the chat and to Brother Talcott and also to Unslaved. Yeah, you guys have a blessed day now. Thank you, guys.
Amen, brother. Thank you. Have a good night, my friend. Paul,
God, talk about long-winded. I mean, good luck following that up. All right, Jack, I love you. I'm choosing peace here, as always. And I think I'm going to get the hell out of here. Probably sit on the edge of my bed, cough, smoke, cry, contemplate my own death as usual. It's a nightly ritual. But I'll see you back tomorrow, man.
I love you, man.
I love you, brother.
Please don't. You missed the entire point of the stream, though, if that's the case. I know that was an act. That was in jest. And brother, receive your blessings. Find the gratitude. All of you, brothers and sisters, throughout your day. Thank you. First of all those who clicked the link, joined the panel, shared the fellowship time with us today. Thank you. Some great discussions, some real beautiful personalities, and God bless you, Tommy. I know you're in the back. Tommy is still in the back, okay? For those who care about him and are vilifying me, I admit my guilt. Tommy is still in the back. He's been patient, although rude in the private chat. But praise be, brothers and sisters, this life is for us. And there's lots of reasons to complain. There's lots of reasons to be afraid. There's lots of things that we can just focus our mind and our attention to, creating these habits, these comfort zones that become walled prisons. And brothers and sisters, we are here to break free, to become free, to claim our freedom. We are made in the image of the sovereign creator, the one truth, the living truth, and that is what has formed us. So in the image of the sovereign creator is the soul of freedom. And brothers and sisters, this is our lifetime. I see the future for us. Imagined, of course, nothing prophetic, but I see a future for us where we become one with life in itself, rejoicing, celebrating, sharing gratitude, happiness, prosperity, and abundance with each other every day, awaken, excited for the opportunity to become more every day. Brothers and sisters, thank you again for joining today. I want to sincerely thank you and encourage, please, share the love without fear, the live without fear, the presence of love and life, and the belief in the solutions for peace. Because peace is here waiting for us to embrace, to represent, to live with and as. Brothers and sisters, thank you again. Choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless and thank you.